right, guys, coming to you from the shop today to tell you all about this JK complete tube chassis that we're wrapping up to go to the Great Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion. This thing, 100% tube chassis, JK, LS427, 4L80 trans, Atlas transfer case, and then Crane 14-bolt axles. We've got Magnum knuckles, big belt RCVs in it, Wilwood brake package front and rear. This thing is awesome. It is literally over the top. I want to break down a few things that we've actually done with the JK chassis. We've done a few of them now, and they're really getting dialed into what we feel like is a great package. They always have been, but we just keep making them a little bit better. And this one right here is getting pretty well dialed in. Tube chassis, and with all of our Jeep chassis, we get a 4-link setup that you cannot get with a factory frame. You have to go to either really heavily modded frame, like cutting the frame in half and welding the front half and a back half kit, or going to a complete tube chassis. Going this tube chassis route, it is a lot of work. We've got to do a lot. You lose all of your front fender bracing and stuff like that. That's all the factory stuff. But what you come out with is all the clearance in the world. You get to run 14-inch shocks, full flex front, full flex rear. We do run 14s front and rear, but this thing flexes like mad, rides amazing. Generally, we're setting them up with anywhere from 5 to 7 inches of up travel at ride height. That's just depending on if you're doing more crawling or if you're doing more pre-running or desert running. The things act phenomenal. So just kind of walking through it, like I said, tube chassis. Then we've got our 31-inch radiator kit, which cools these bigger engines, no problem. This one has a 427 in it. Then we went with coilovers and bypasses. Hydroboost brake kit with an integrated ARB mount. That's a mount that we actually make now, to where you take your JK firewall and it's got a mount kind of tied in close to it to mount the tilt steering column that we've got in there. And then right beside it, we're mounting, it covers the firewall, sandwiches it. You can put your Hydroboost in it, and your ARB mount and a little ARB tank that goes with it to run the lockers in this thing. Reservoir mount, which is just our actually standard PSC reservoir mount. All the body armor on the thing we built here. It's pretty awesome. It cuts out around the doors. We do the doors. We actually used to not do the doors, but then you would have a crazy looking step whenever you didn't. So now it all does it and matches. Got a little W in here. If you can look at the back, right back here, we clean up the inner fender well pretty much better than anybody else does. One reason is because we cut the entire back fender well out of the Jeep and we weld in our steel fender wells. This allows us to move the shocks inboard and get all the flex we want to. We actually go outside of the shocks with the sway bar and it works really well. This Jeep has a low mount fuel cell, 20 gallons mounted back here. So we've got all the room in the back to just really for storage, coolers, tools, camping gear, whatever this guy's wanting to do. But what I'm really proud of is we've really sat down and developed all these bits and pieces that go in and truly finish this thing off. And then what we're getting is this blend of rhino liner that's on the tub and then just a flat black powder coat that we did on the rest of the pieces. And it's got a really good contrast to it. White and white and orange look awesome together. We put all the sheet metal on this thing is white, and then all the tube work on it is orange. That was just the color theme that we went through. So right now, Sam's over here. He's loading up the Holley ECM with a tune that we've used previously on a build about like this. So we're just calling it our initial startup tune, and we're going to see if we can get this thing to start. And we really need it to make our deadline. So right now, Sam's working on getting the Holley fired up. This was a crate engine and it had an engine tune in it. So what we always like to do is plug it in with the Holley software, see where parameters are and watch it from the big screen and see if we got anything going on on initial startup. So right now he's just getting everything downloaded and tied together and talking together, and let's just hope it all works.
Yeah, we try to shoot for a first startup on the first try, but we got to make sure everything's communicating with each other. It all runs off the CAN system, so hopefully this is the tune it came with, so hopefully it'll work, but you never know.
Yeah. All right, what we're going to do first, we always start an engine without a belt on the engine. I just want limited number of problems at one time. So radiator does have coolant in it. We know it's got oil in it. We know it's got trans fluid in it, diff fluids. The Atlas we fill the Atlas as we're putting it together. So we know everything's got oil in it, but I don't want that belt turning on the alternator, the steering pump, water pump, none of that stuff, because each individual system is its own problem. So we generally just pull the belt off, try to dry fire them right quick, just to make sure that it starts and it's got oil pressure. That'll be system check number one. So number one is if he keys it on and we got a fuel pump. So let's see what we got, Sam.
Well, I've already primed it. It's good.
Oh, you've already primed that? So that worked. Now you don't have any readings right there, do you?
No, it's up.
All right, it's up on that. So I guess what we're going to do is spin it over. Let's see if I get any oil pressures. Yeah. That didn't work. Means the battery's dead. Hold on. These may not be tight. Oh, that ain't tight. Let's bump it again. All right, let's grab a multimeter and double check that right quick. This says 12. Let me tighten up the leads to make sure. You're tight on the battery? Your lead's tight on the battery, you're sure? The main on the starter?
Yeah.
You're sure? All right, it's probably just right here then. Turn it on now, see if you can bump that. Oh. That's a new one. Bump that again. Just bump it. Nothing. Huh. Bump it. Give me a hammer. Tap that. Hold on. Tap it. Oh. What in the hell? Huh. Bump it one time. All right, hold on. Oh, that's one. This mug is hitting this big old thing on the block. It's like this ain't the right starter. Where did the starter come from? See how that right there is hitting?
Yeah.
A piece on the block, and it's got the starter kicked around.
Yeah.
And that's why it ain't in line. All right, go up there, hit the battery cutoff. We can drop the starter then, and we'll just grind that piece off the block and make this work. All right, round two. Apparently the starter we had on there wasn't exactly the correct, something wasn't right. We just bumped it over, it did turn over, so now we're going to go back to trying to see if we can get this thing back started. Sam, let's try it. Yeah. Shut it off. We've got something weird going on. I've got negative 21 on the oil pressure, so that probably means your wires may be crossed.
I know that was the one we were kind of.
That's weird that we got a negative in the oil pressure unit right now. Can you unplug that? Yeah.
Pretty much have to take the intake.
Can we get to the wires and just clip them back here in the harness? Or is it all underneath the intake? It's all under the intake. All right, looks like we're jerking the intake to see what's up with that then. Let's try one more time. Actually, no, I mean, that's not going to change. All right. Yeah, let's pull the intake. But it did start. We'll have to jerk the intake right quick, change a couple of wires around. We've got a negative reading on our oil pressure right now. We were in the wiring harness. We were kind of questionable. We thought we had the right one, but apparently we didn't. So, but that's good. I'll work on hooking the exhaust back up. He can swap those wires back around. We'll have it back fired up. But like first fire up's always good. So looks like I didn't want to be pulling the flywheel out from this thing. I was really scared there for a minute, like it had the weird flywheel, because like the starter it wasn't lining up. So I feel good about where we're at right now. It started. That's generally always a good sign. So if we've got it started, even if we got to get the engine tuner to touch through it or whatnot, I'm fixing to go through, get all the exhaust hooked up, and literally we're at wheels, tires, seats, all the big stuff. Really, like with this is a big step. I'd like to get it fired up, let it run through the heat and cool cycles and all that stuff. So that's where we're headed next. All right, so I've got the exhaust all back on. Sam's getting intake flipped around, made around with bleeding the brakes and everything right now. So just trying to get these final system check done. I'm ready to fire it up now and try to just circulate all the fluids, make sure everything's good. It kicks in gear, everything next from there. It's getting kind of late, it's Friday, but this thing has to be loaded up on Monday. So that means we're gonna work a little bit late tonight, maybe a little bit tomorrow. But you guys come by the Wilwood booth at Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion and check this thing out. It should be there next weekend, as long as everything goes just right. See you there.
Don't forget to like, share, follow, and subscribe. Visit our website at wideopendesign.com.